Actually, I have just come back after traveling for 7 months and I've been very unwell. But when I got a chance to come here, I have never said no to any invitation from Chennai till date. So my record is 100%. And Honorable Professor Mukundji, Guru Mukundji, and dynamic and perhaps the future Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Annamalai ji. My father was a Sanskrit scholar, and he told me that if you really, since we were talking about Jnanam, he said if you really want Jnana and if you want to understand what is Bharat, if you want to understand how to become Vishwaguru, you must know two languages, Sanskrit and Tamil. And it's very unfortunate that I couldn't master both the languages. And it's not my story, it's a story of Tamil young kids also. If you make a list of some of the greatest heroes, philosophers, religious masters, mathematicians, scientists, sportsmen, politicians, in any walk of life, in any field, some of the greatest minds you will find have come from Tamil Nadu. And there is a reason for that. There is a reason for that. If you look at the history of the world civilization, the greatest of the innovations about life and society and culture have taken place, especially in India, in two places, Kashmir and Tamil Nadu. And the reason was that the purest minds, after you do your post-graduation, you go to Harvard and Yale and Ivy League universities for your specialization. So that specialization, even after Kashi, you will be surprised to know that in Kashi, in the Guru Shishya, in the Gurukuls, when you graduate, when you finish your course, you take 3 steps towards Kashmir. So these were the two places where kind of a cultural renaissance took place. Greatest of the philosophies, the value of religion and the relationship of religion in human life, a lot of experimentations, political thought. And that's why you see, when we say Bharat Varsh, all you see is from top to bottom a great cultivation of novel ideas and thoughts. But today, it's a sad commentary. Today only I was reading a book on calculus, the history of calculus. And it begins, without the decimal system which came from India, there would have been no calculus. Without calculus, there would have been no GPS system. No GPS means no Google, no airlines, everything, whatever happens in our life, calculus plays an important role. So what has happened? A nation which gave direction to the world. We were the center of knowledge. We were the cradle of civilization. What quantum physics is discovering now, we knew 5,000 years ago. If you understand little Hindi, they say kan kan mein Bhagwan, which means in every particle there is God. We said it thousands of years ago. And quantum physics is now discovering, so they just discovered God's particle. And they are realizing that the power of the smallest particle is equal to the cosmic power. I'm paraphrasing, not the equation. But we knew it right from the beginning. And therefore, the Vedantic knowledge begins with Tattvamasi, which means you are that. We never had this conflict of who's God. And that's why you will see in this world now, today there are two kinds of faith systems. One, which I call is an open source. There must be a lot of people who are in IT industry, so you will understand. There are open source faith systems. And then there are closed faith systems. Open faith system is that you can imagine your God in whichever way you want. You don't believe in God, no problems. If there are no gods, you worship trees, you worship sky, you worship sun, you worship anything. But in the end, you learn that you are that. Thou art that, as they say. Because you have the same power or same gunas or same qualities as what we think the God means, this Srishti, the Brahman is. And that's what Advaita is also all about. It says everything is one. So open source faith systems are hardly there in the world. We are perhaps the only surviving open source faith system, which is why you will find that people who were persecuted in their own countries, they came to India. All these invaders who came to Kashmir, they were persecuted in their own country. They came here to take shelter. We gave them refuge. It is unfortunate that they deceived us and then they started looting and converting people in Kashmir. Anywhere, I live in Bombay. The Parsis, the Persian people, persecuted, they only survive here. We are the only country in the history of humanity which has given birth to 4 most peaceful religions. There is no other country in the world, no society in the world. We are the only ones. In fact, all other societies have destroyed and killed other religions. But we have given birth, and not just birth. If you look at the minorities, all the countries talk about minorities today. It's a very big problem in the world. I was in Europe and USA last 6-7 months. The only thing people talk about how to deal with minorities, especially the Islamic minority. But everybody talks. It's only in India a new language was invented, and not thousands of years ago, recently, which is Urdu. And today everybody speaks that language without any discrimination. In every part of India you will find there are all kinds of places of worshipping. Everybody is welcome. That is open source faith system. And then there is closed source faith system. Closed source faith system is, I tell you, therefore you believe me. Like lots of, if you are from IT, who has written the code? I don't know. The coder said this is it, so you have to believe it. If you don't believe it, you can't use the code. If you say anything against code, we will destroy you. You have seen recently in Udaipur what happened. I hope you guys know, the news must have come here what happened in Udaipur. And that's why you will find in Bharatiya culture there is no word for blasphemy. How can there be blasphemy? If you are God, if you have the same guna, same properties, then how can you do blasphemy against yourself? And that's why, if you have read Shankaracharya, the entire Advaita, that's why it says, what is the purpose of a human being? The purpose is to move from ignorance to knowledge, jnana. And only when you move from ignorance to knowledge, you self-actualize yourself. Then only you can understand your relationship in this cosmos. So the only dharma is to move towards jnana, knowledge. And look at what the rest of the world, these closed faith systems remain only at the level of ignorance. Because if you move towards knowledge, you will start seeking, you will start questioning. And that is not allowed. So this is broadly speaking, this is the conflict of the world, not only of India. Everywhere you go to Germany, you go to England, you go to France, all over the world, this is the problem which everybody is facing. Now in Europe, their problem is closed circuit versus closed circuit. They say my closed circuit is better, not yours. They are Abrahamic conflicts. But we are going through a very strange kind of a phenomena where what is truth and what is correct for the world is being challenged by regressive systems. And therefore, the need for a cultural renaissance, a cultural revolution is very, very important in this country. Everybody says, why did you have to make this film? Because after making this film, my life has become like a prison. I can't go out. I'm a very social person. I can't go out. I can't meet my own family, people. I have to be restricted. All my movement is restricted, thanks to the Home Ministry of India. So, but this is so unfortunate. Imagine Mr. Steven Spielberg, who made Schindler's List. It's about the Holocaust of Jews. Imagine Mr. Spielberg, after making that film, getting security and threats. It never happened. It's because of ignorance. Journalists ask me very often, no. You are saying 4,000 people were killed. No, according to my record, there were 3,870 people were killed. I say when Mr. Spielberg makes a film and he says 6 million Jews were killed, nobody in this world asks, was it 6 million or was it 5.8 million? Whatever he says, you believe it, because in the moment of compassion and empathy and a tragedy of such nature, you don't go on counting dead bodies. There are dead bodies, that's enough. Nobody, since the partition this problem was going on, nobody in the world knew about it. Wherever I went for research, everybody thought that Kashmir is part of Pakistan because Pakistan has been doing lobbying. That's when I decided that I will travel all over the world and I'll talk to the youth and make them aware that yes, in a Hindu nation of India, I'm saying Hindu because it's not my terminology, it's been given by the world to us. So in the Hindu nation called Bharatvarsh, what the world calls the majority, even the majority is been facing continuous genocide. And I will, in next 2 minutes, I'll tell you, we are the only people who have suffered the longest continuous genocide which has not stopped till date. Genocide happens at 3 levels. Number 1, physical, where people kill you, rape your mothers, loot you. That's level 1. The second level is religious level. You put one god, somebody will come and put 5 more gods around it, their own. So domination, exerting power, physical power. What happened in Udaipur is an example of that. Beheading is the best example of that. Creating fear, instilling fear. And the third genocide is the cultural genocide. The nation which showed light to the world, which 5,000 years ago understood that we are one. It's like when I say this desk, the source of this desk is the same tree. So there is no difference between the properties of the tree and this desk. Therefore, there is oneness. Such evolved philosophy we have given to the world, nobody can even imagine. And today, our own children don't know about it. That is the sign of a cultural genocide. 100 years ago, Khilafat came into India. The first Mopla riots, you know about it. I'm researching a lot because my next film, The Delhi Files, is about that. 100 years ago, it started with with the Mopla genocide. Gandhiji, in his innocence, I don't know, I wasn't born then, so I don't know why, but he gave his full approval, unconditional approval to Khilafat movement. Khilafat doesn't mean opposition. A lot of people think Khilafat means kisi ke khilaf ho jana. No, 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 no. Khilafat is about the caliphate, Khalifa, which means my allegiance is with my Khalifa who's sitting in Turkey and not with the country. Gandhiji gave it his unconditional approval and support. Ambedkar was against it. Annie Besant was against it. Every single person was against it. But Gandhiji gave it approval, so the entire country had to accept it. Thousands of people were killed. In fact, Annie Besant, one of the greatest people, Annie Besant has written that when the people came there, a 3 or 4 month old child, baby, a girl, little girl, she was sucking her mother's breast, a dead mother. In the well, people were queued up and they were asked to convert. And whoever refused, they were beheaded and thrown into the well. Some people did not die properly, their voices kept coming for 3-4 days. It's a horror story. But it didn't stop there. Then came Calcutta genocide, Direct Action Day. If you have seen the pictures, you will see how dead bodies of Hindus are lying everywhere. Then we have seen Kashmir. In its and bits, here and there, we have been seeing it non-stop. We have been going through a major turmoil and conflict. And the only way to stop this conflict is to have 100% allegiance to this open source system which says, I am good, you are good, everybody is good. But above all, we are one. And that oneness is coming from Bharatiya knowledge. I am very proud of Bharat and Bharat's philosophy. And in Tamil Nadu, since I am here, I want to express somebody I was talking to when I was in Chicago, a Tamilian professor. And he was saying, I have lost hope in Tamil Nadu. And out of love, out of concern, out of care, he was saying. He said, what's going wrong with Tamil Nadu? I said, I'll tell you what is going wrong with Tamil Nadu. In last so many decades, Tamil Nadu has not seen a hero. You need heroes. And I am very, very happy that Mr. Annamalai is that dynamic hero everybody was looking for. I hope with your support and love, you will what I desire, and millions of people like me who desire this, I hope you will take Tamil Nadu on the path of Indic Renaissance. So before I end, I want to tell you, when some people ask me, why do you take this risk? Why do you make this film? That your life is under threat and your family is under threat. I said, this is just the beginning. Time has come. It is like after freedom movement, we need another movement. We have to free ourselves from these secular thoughts. This fake secularism, I do not accept, because we are the first people who invented secularism. If that was not the case, tell me why Shankaracharya, the school of Shankaracharya and Buddhists argued for almost 1,000 years. Nobody needs to teach us about liberalism, about secularism, about inclusiveness. We are the most inclusive people. Because look at any family, go to any middle class family. And you'll understand whoever you are, if you come, you'll be welcomed, you'll be included in the family, and sometimes you won't even know what is the relationship. You'll think he's the real brother or real uncle or aunt. Because our DNA is standing on 4 pillars. Number 1 is sacrifice. Today, there is a little heat in Europe and people are dying because they don't know how to adjust to the realities of the nature. But look at your own mothers. Just think for 2 seconds, think deeply. Look at the kind of sacrifice your mothers make. She doesn't eat good food, she won't buy makeup, won't buy expensive sari. She'll sacrifice her entire life in giving values to her children. This is our biggest strength. Our second biggest strength is simplicity. We are simple people. We believe in simplicity. But in this process of cultural genocide now, globalization and westernization is taking that away from us. Let's not forget, modernization and westernization are 2 different things. You can be modern yet simple. And the third thing is the collective feeling of seva. We don't talk about it like USA. We don't say philanthropy, charity. We don't talk so much about it, but we naturally do it. It's our nature. And the last pillar, the last of these 4S is spirituality. Spirituality these days, because there are a lot of high-profile people who talk about it in videos and all, people think spirituality is something very difficult. Spirituality is actually the easiest thing. It's your inner dialogue with your environment. And I think every Indian is born with some understanding of spirituality. So what do we need to do? We have to pick up the great strengths and gunas of our DNA, of our culture. And we have to revolutionize them in such a way so that the younger people of this country, they find a purpose. When you teach wrong history, when all the times you are looking at the fault lines, you are telling them this is wrong with you, this is wrong with you. If you have any children in your house, you do an experiment. Tell a young child, something is wrong with you, something is wrong with you. Trust me, he will become tougher. He'll have no sense of pride, he'll have no sense of purpose. So I said, if with my art, with my movies, with my books, if I can give kind of a purpose, give a kind of pride in our own society and nation, then it will be the purpose of my life. So I have dedicated myself for Indic Renaissance, and in that direction, I am making films, and in a very, very positive way. The way people received, I want to thank you, because in the history of Chennai or Tamil Nadu, Hindi films don't work here very well. And when my film released, it hardly released in few screens, but the great volunteers, wonderful people, I don't even know most of the names. I want to thank everybody in Chennai and Tamil Nadu, because this became the biggest successful Hindi film ever in Tamil Nadu, and that is the beginning. So thank you very much.